This doctor has spun thousands of blood samples and says he has never watched plasma do this.
We should be clear about what that test is showing, right? So the LabCorp spike antibody test is not a direct measure of spike protein. It's an inference measure. And the problem is it's consistent in our data that over all the patients we've tested, the antibody levels are high, but it's split into two cohorts. So vaccinated generally 2 times higher than long COVID. So long COVID often sits around sort of like 6, but the range 2 to 8. But with the vaccine, you tend to see extraordinarily high values that often sort of go off the scale and often in sort of 20,000. Is it a consequence of there actually being spike, or is it just a consequence of the mechanism of the vaccine, because of the nature of it being a gene transfection product? It's just spitting out spike protein just because that's what it does. It's not even a reaction. Your body might have cleared spike protein, but it's still just putting out these antibodies.
If a patient you feel like has very minimal symptoms, how fast do you see the progression if the spike protein is still in the body?
But the thing is, I'm pretty sure if I go and do the tests on these clots, I mean, they're literally in my freezer a couple of feet away, right? I just don't have the time to do it. Actually, if I go back to my one, just to prove the point, it is amyloidogenic, right? That's a sample taken straight from that tube, and you can see it forming its fibrillar structure.
But are people progressing?
This is my concern right now. And I was saying right at the beginning, you wait 5 to 10 years and see what happens. But it's not something that I've seen just by myself or just from me. It's happening from multiple people. And it literally happened in the pathology lab, major hospital, as we all sat round and watched this young girl's plasma turn into this hydrogel. Vaccine itself had been pulled early because of known issues with respect to cranial venous clotting. Brain injury, basically. Perhaps I should expand a little bit on the type of brain injuries that we're seeing. And this actually relates to one of your patients, which was an AstraZeneca shot, and she just had one, I believe, but had severe flare hyperintensities under MRI, and it was widely dispersed. It looked kind of like a hypoxic injury, but if I had to make a guess, I would say she was close to the threshold of something like that happening. Luckily, it didn't get as severe as it could be, but it's left with long-term injuries. Here's what I think is critical about our treatment, right? So most people, 99% of any clinics trying to offer anything approximating blood filtration or apheresis, and even those using the exactly same hardware as we do, will use a peripheral brachial vein to try to filter the patient. And what we do is, because we primarily consider it a disorder, or most cases a sort of neural injury, neurovascular injury, the approach is done through the jugular vein. And then that catches everything that's flushed out of the brain over the course of the time it takes to filter or fill that filter. But in this instance, instead of pulling against all the body's plasma at once and organ sinks and depots everywhere around the body, it focuses on outflow from the brain.